Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your brother Cooking with Solstice coming back at you with another video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you some techniques on how I chop my samples, how I look for samples, what kind of samples I look for, and some other techniques that I use to actually create my beats and really, it's kind of just more like chop philosophy. So I'm going to get into the video, guys. So the first thing is developing an ear. The first thing that you want to do, guys, is take some time to really develop your ear. That's the biggest thing with sampling, guys, really, is picking good samples, because in the beginning I think it's important to do quantity over quality. So just sample anything and everything to kind of get the flow of things and to kind of develop your skills chopping. But over time I've noticed that the pickier I become with samples, the better my beats have become, because I'm actually looking for good songs to sample, because it's hard to polish a turd, you know what I'm saying? And that's a common saying in the mixing industry and stuff like that. It's hard to polish a shitty recording, you know what I'm saying? So that's the same thing with sampling. It's hard to make a good beat with a bad sample unless you're really creative and you're just on some genius level shit, which I don't claim to be on that type of level. You know, I don't really know how to play any instruments like that, so my main instrument is sampling. My main instrument is, finding good songs and converting them into something new. So the second thing, guys, that I want to give you is chopping on the drums of the sample. So if the sample has drums on it, chop on the kick, chop on the snare. If there aren't any drums, try to find a bass line and chop in the rhythm of the sample. That way your chops will be in time and they won't sound weird or convoluted or off time and you can't figure out why. That's super huge, guys. Chop on the drums of the sample. That helps so much. And also with certain samples, I'll play this sample real quick. Give me one. You guys hear that little snare? Yeah, that snare right there, what you can do is layer that. So when you're chopping that and you chop it on the snare, that snare is going to be layered on top of whatever you're using for drums. So layering snares also just makes your beats sound a lot better, because there's more width, I want to say, or a little more of a punch to your snares and a little more going on, and it adds to the variety of the track too, because then you can take away the snare that you put on for, I don't know, every 4 beats or something, to add a little more variation. And I'll just show you guys what I'm talking about with the chopping on the drums of it. So every time I chop, it's gonna be on a beat. You guys can see what I'm talking about. Just make sure it's on point. You see how that's already way easier and you don't have to really do much. I mean, obviously you got to do something, otherwise that's just kind of stealing, and it's why do something that's already been done? But the next thing I like to do, guys, is I do the same thing with breaks. So basically I take a drum break and I put it on top of the chops that I do. So I figure out the chops, I get the chops down, and then I find a break that matches kind of the same rhythm of the track. And then what I do is I chop up the break, same thing on the kick and the snares and the hats. And then I time stretch that break. And I've made a video kind of going over time stretching and stuff like that. So if you guys want to check that out, definitely take a look at that. It might help you. And what I do is then I just time stretch the break to the sample. And to find the BPM of the sample, what I do is while I'm chopping it, I hit tap tempo. So I'll hit tap tempo. It's hard to do with one hand right now because I'm recording with my phone and I don't have a camera anymore. So I would tap tempo at the same speed that I'd be hitting the pads in the way that I want the loop to go. So that's how you'd find the BPM, and then I just time stretch the breaks to the BPM that I found. So let's say from tap tempo the BPM is 104, or it's like 103.56 or something. I would just round it up to 104, and then I would time stretch my drums to that BPM. And basically, once you do that, you have a very solid sounding track. And then, like I've said before in other videos, is I would find like a sample that has multiple things going on at once, with like different instruments, different layers, different sections of the song. Like let's say there's a couple of like bridges or choruses or like change ups in the song. I would use that for a section A and section B in my track. So basically it's not the same loop playing over and over and over. That gets old. So that's what I like to do, is I like to find samples too, guys, that has multiple things going on, multiple layers of instruments at least. So if I wanted to and I just have one solid loop and nothing else with some drums, I can use like a kill EQ to isolate certain instruments and reintroduce them into the track, making it a little more refreshing and interesting in terms of like the song structure and stuff like that. So that's the video, guys. I hope that helped. I'm sorry if this wasn't the best recording or whatever. I'm still trying to work with what I got. I had to get rid of a lot of my camera equipment. Your boy kind of fell on hard times. So I hope you guys understand, and that this video actually brought some value and helped you guys out quite a bit. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them down in the comment box down below. If you guys would like to support your boy so I can make some more videos, please consider donating to my Cash App, PayPal, or checking out my Bandcamp. I'll put it in the pinned comment or something like that, as well as just streaming my music. Like, it just helps me out. So with that being said, guys, I appreciate you watching. If you made it to the end, you're a real one. I'll check you in the next one. Peace.